Maintaining the universe requires a delicate balance of duties. On one side, Vishnu preserves world order. On the other, Shiva transforms it through destruction. For eons, they have operated at opposite ends of reality to keep the cosmos from tipping over. This equilibrium breaks with an Asura king named Banasura. Empowered by 1,000 arms and the strength of 1,000 elephants, his pride over a family dispute eventually spills over into the heavens. Because Banasura was an ardent devotee who once played the mridanga for Shiva's Tandava dance, the god of destruction manifests on the battlefield to protect him. This forces the opposition. Krishna, the avatar of Vishnu, arrives at the head of a massive army to arrest the demon king. For the first time, the universe's two supreme authorities are facing one another in a state of war. The escalation is total. Shiva summons the Pashupatastra, his most personal weapon of destruction, and Krishna counters with the Narayanastra. When these world-ending weapons collide, the shockwaves threaten to dissolve the fabric of existence itself. To understand why this battle is happening, we must look at the Hindu concept of Advaita. This philosophy argues for the fundamental oneness of all existence. In this view, Vishnu and Shiva are not separate entities, but two different aspects of the same ultimate reality. This creates a theological paradox. If these two gods are theologically the same being, why is the universe being dismantled as they try to destroy each other? As the battle reaches peak, the two deities reach a silent understanding. Since they share the same soul, neither can actually defeat the other. The war is a stalemate by design. Krishna finds a way to end the impasse without violence. He releases a celestial weapon of lethargy, providing a divine exit that allows Shiva to peacefully enter a deep yogic trance and leave the battlefield. This conflict functions as a scripted performance. In many Hindu myths, demons exploit boons, magical contracts granted by the gods that provide specific immunities. To maintain the laws of the universe, the gods must act out this divine theater to find the technicality that allows them to bypass the demon's protection. We see this clearly in the myth of the demon Guhasura. He secured a boon, making it impossible for either Vishnu or Shiva to kill him individually. As long as they remained separate, he was invincible. To solve the loophole, the two gods physically merge into a single body, Hari Hara. By becoming one, they are no longer individual actors, rendering the demon's immunity useless. These carvings show the anatomical results of that vertical split. On the right, the kingly preserver wears a tall crown and jewelry. On the left, the matted hair and tiger skin of the ascetic destroyer. Hari Hara demonstrates that divine opposition is a mask. In reality, the two gods act as a coordinated unit, using their combined form to maintain cosmic order when individual power is restricted by law. This concept traveled from the realm of myth into the physical geography of the Brahmaputra Valley and Southeast Asia, where it was put to work by human kings. Ancient rulers in these regions faced a constant threat of civil unrest. Their populations were deeply divided into rival sects, those who worshipped Shiva and those who worshipped Vishnu, often leading to violent internal conflicts that weakened the state. Rulers like Jayavarman II of the Khmer Empire utilized the Hari Hara concept to solve this. By establishing the Devaraja, or God King cult, they presented themselves as the living embodiment of both deities, effectively merging the rival religious factions under the authority of the throne. They embedded this unity into the landscape itself. At temples like Angkor Wat and the Bayonne, the architecture displays Vishnu, Shiva, and Buddhist motifs together, making religious integration a physical requirement for anyone entering the capital. The stone faces of the Bayonne look out in every direction simultaneously. This ensured that the king's unified divine authority was visible from every angle of the city, acting as a constant reminder of state-enforced harmony. This wasn't just a Southeast Asian phenomenon. Indian dynasties invested heavily in rock-cut cave temples dedicated to this fusion, using stone carvings to discourage sectarian division among their subjects. Archaeological evidence places the origin points of this worship across the Indian subcontinent, specifically in regions where diverse religious traditions first began to overlap. From India, the concept moved through the Brahmaputra Valley into Southeast Asia, functioning as a stabilizing force for newly emerging empires. By presenting rival deities as a single, inseparable icon, rulers were able to govern fractured populations under a shared spiritual identity. This turned a complex philosophical paradox into a practical mechanism for state stability. Back on the mythological battlefield, Shiva remains in his trance. With the protector of Banasura out of the way, Krishna approaches the demon king, whose arrogance had nearly dismantled the universe. Krishna does not kill the king. Instead, he uses his divine discus to systematically remove 996 of his 1,000 arms, leaving him with only 4, enough to serve, but not enough to dominate. When Shiva awakens, the two deities share a knowing smile. Banasura is humbled and repentant, his ego destroyed while his life remains intact. Banasura's 1,000 arms represented an ego that sought to dominate the divine itself. By removing them, Krishna didn't just take away a demon's strength, he returned his soul to the path of Dharma. Whether carved into the stone of an ancient empire or battling in epic myth, the opposing forces of reality are not enemies. They are two halves of the same truth, working together to strip away our pride and restore the balance.